Two brand new tanks are coming to World of Tanks Modern Armor with the release of upcoming season Gods of Thunder on July 29th, one being a World War II tank and the other one for Cold War. For World War II, you guessed it right, it is the Tier 9 German super heavy tank, the Tiger Mouse, and you can also get the skin, the Rude Mouse. The tank is stage 100 reward, but you have to have the basic season pass, and the skin you can earn it once you finish stage 120. For the Cold War version, we get Era 3 M3A1, also known as ADATs. So let's look at the stats for the Tiger Mouse. Doing a side-by-side comparison of Tiger Mouse against Motion. So Tiger Mouse is lighter, more mobile, has better alpha, but less hit points. And your Motion is like a traditional super heavy with more hit points. It is slower, but it does have that secondary weapon that Tiger Mouse does not. So starting with hit points, 1950 hit points against Mouston's 2150, engine power of 1200. Mouston has 1550. However, you don't lose power to weight. You still have higher power to weight in Tiger Mouse 10 compared to Mouston's 9.2. Speed limit 32 forward, 16 reverse against Mouston's 25 and 15 in reverse. Hull traverse of 20 degrees, turret of 18 for Tiger Mouse, slightly better than the Mouston's 15 for both hull and turret. Penetration is the same for both tanks, however the damage is higher for Tiger Mouse with 530 on standard premium and 670 on HE, while the Mouston has 490 on standard and premium and 630 on HE. Aim time is slightly worse, 2.4 compared to 2.3 of Mouston's. Accuracy is 0.39 compared to 0.38 for Mouston. Reload 15.5 against 15 seconds. As I mentioned earlier, it does have higher alpha, so DPM is better for the Tiger Mouse of 2051 compared to 1960 for the Mouston. Gun depression 7 degrees, 1 less than the Mouston. Gun elevation 23, 2 less than the Mouston. Ammo capacity is 60, 10 more. However, as I said, it doesn't have the secondary weapon. Shell speed 920 for AP, 1150 for APCR, and HE is 920 as well. And view range of 400 meters. However, as I mentioned earlier, Mouston does have that secondary weapon that could be lethal against lightly armored tank. And it does have solid DPM as well, especially if you fire AT, you can even get a better opportunity. You can like track people, so that secondary weapon is an advantage, and we don't have that on Tiger Mouse at this time, but maybe in the future. They did say in the stream they will note it, and maybe we'll get it in the future. But for now, it does miss. However, the standard gun is better for the Tiger Mouse, and again, it is faster, so it feels more enjoyable, but doesn't have that secondary weapon, which is useful for tracking as well as deteriorating enemy to circle you because you are always loaded. Now for the second brand new tank, we have M3A1, also known as ADAT. It is Cold War Era 3 light tank. You unlock it with Ultimate Season Pass. It costs around 6,000 gold, and you do get the snapshot skin as well as the 3D commander. So if you're in the Cold War, highly recommend you to get this tank as well because it is hugely discounted. Usually the tank costs 17,000 for a mid tier, and with the Cold War or with the Ultimate Season Pass, you can get the tank and the skin and the commander for just 4,000 additional gold. So let's compare the tanks. Comparing M3A1 against the existing Tech 3 M3A2, both tanks are very similar and their autocannon is identical. However, the difference is in their mobility as well as the ATGM. So let's look at the stats. 3,200 for both tanks. Horsepower or engine power of 500 compared to 600 for A2. Power to weight is better for A1, 25.78, whereas A2 has a power to weight of 22.25. The speed is slower for ADATs, 58 forward, 26 reverse, whereas the A2 goes 69 forward and 32 in reverse. Tail traverse 2 degrees better for M3A1 with 48 degrees. Turret traverse is identical with 60 degrees. Gun depression and elevation are also identical, 9 degrees and 59 degrees for the tank. The autocannon, as I mentioned, they are identical. 220 penetration, 30 alpha, 1.7 aim time, 0.21 accuracy, rate of fire 150, reload 30 seconds, shots per clip 300, 0.3 interclip 4500. DPM exactly identical, but the thing is, in Era 3, you don't really do much damage with the secondary or autocannon, especially with this one. I've played this one. I played the Desert Warrior that also have the same one. You just don't do much damage. They're there, sure, if you get the back, you can do some damage, but these guns, they aren't like the Martyr where you just shred, or MLI. These are there, you can do some damage here and there, but to be honest, you don't do much. This isn't your main weapon. This is a secondary weapon. Your missiles are your main weapon. Now looking at the missile, and that's where the difference is, because this is the fastest missiles by far that are currently in the game. So, or ATGM, sorry. Penetration of 900. With the A2 you get standard 800 and premium 1000. So it's in the middle. Damage 1300. Same for both tanks. Aim time 1 second, accuracy 0.2. I mean, they don't really matter. But they did say that because these missiles are faster, it'll be difficult to steer, just because they get there quickly, I assume. A reload of 46 seconds. However, this is what the term they use is dual quad ATGM. So you have you load 8 ATGMs with 1 reload, but in the A2 you load 2, and that's why the difference in the reload. 46 seconds versus 25 seconds for A2. Shots per clip 8 versus 2. Interclip reload for the A1 is 18.18 compared to 10 seconds of A2. DPM comes down to 3600 versus 4459 for the A2. So slightly lower DPM. However, for the new tank, you don't even need to run loader or any of those skills, because you only reload it twice, and your interclip is fixed, so that won't change. So you don't even need to run the loader equipment or the skill for it. Ammo capacity is 24. Minimum arming distance is 100 meters though, which is worse than the A2, A2A65, but that's what I was talking about. The shell velocity, ATGM shell velocity of 1029. That is just insane. Usually you get around 300 for the good tanks, even for the WoT like 329 or so. But this is almost 3 times that shell velocity or the ATGM velocity. So as soon as you fire, bang, you'll hit them. So especially the tanks that are going fast, this will be really good against them, because sometimes if you're doing long range sniping, you will miss the target, because by the time your ATM gets there, they are in cover. And the tank does have a view range of 600 meters compared to A2's 580. So definitely the tank looks interesting. We'll have to see, we have to play how this tank feels, how that shell velocity impacts of the ATDM, because that's the main difference, right? Minigun, there's nothing special about it. Everything about this tank is that unique ability of the high shell velocity ATDMs. We do have Master Jagger, but those are unguided rockets that also have a fast shell velocity, and we have seen how much damage they can do. But with this one, very, very interesting. I think, especially with the other changes they're attaching, right? We have terrain resistant change going on, which will end this week. But eventually, when it comes down, the tanks will be even more slower. So definitely looking forward to this tank. And as I said, if you play Cold War, I've been playing Cold War a lot lately. Definitely I recommend it, as you can get the tank and the skin just for 4K gold. Now for the existing tank, as a stage 100 reward, we will get the Tier 8 German tank destroyer Kanonjagdpanzer. It does not have the alpha as the Kanonjagdpanzer 105, so don't confuse. It does have the 90 mm. You have 240 alpha. More of the attributes are the same. However, it is more DPM and better gun handling. I already have a review out for those, so a solid tank, especially for a free version. As I said, however, in most situations, especially in small maps, 105 is the better option. But again, the 700 better base DPM as well as that accuracy cannot be taken lightly. And in situation where the opportunity present, you will farm damage. So a decent tank. And to be honest, for the tank destroyer, I would rather have a low alpha tank destroyer given out rather than a 420 or a 500. So definitely a balance and a good fun tank. Next we have for our stage 75 reward, the British Tier 8 tank destroyer Terrapin Mark 1, also known as Baby Badger. This tank, I like this tank, especially when it first came out. It is slow, however it doesn't have that annoying hatch that the AT or the Tortoise has, so you can play Hull down much more effectively. You also have 330 alpha, premium APCR, so decent shell velocity, decent armor for a Tier 8. Of course you'll struggle against 9 and 10, but for those who like slower gameplay, a good tank. as well to add to your collection. And as I always say, always buy the basic season pass because you make more gold in return than what you spend. And then if you have the extra gold, you can buy the ultimate season pass as well. Now, last but not the least, you will also get Tier 5 Soviet Heavy Tank as Stage 25 reward. It is KB220-2. Well, what do I say about this tank? It is one of the oldest tanks, so most of you who are playing this game for a while, you already have this. And if you're new, sure you'll get this tank. It does have that special preferential matchmaking, so you only see tier 6s. However, the tank is slow, doesn't have the greatest pen because you're pref. You do have high rate of fire. You might enjoy this, but to be honest, these days, because so many tier 8s are given away, tier 7 is, I think, the lowest I personally enjoy. But still, I would say an okay tank, especially, it's pref, so it's nice. You can have that, but I'm pretty sure you guys already have the tank, so we won't have any review for this one, but we will have for the Terrapin, as well as the new tank. So moving on to the other rewards for the season. So most of the rewards are identical. Of course, the difference is the tanks that we already discussed, and we get a rebranded war chest because every season they have their war chests that are tied to the season as well as different commanders as well. But the silver, gold, premium account, vehicle XP, commander booster, consumables, cosmetics, silver boosters, they stay the same. We do have one less themed camo net. We did had it last season, but I don't think it matters much. Other than that, as I said, with the ADATs, you do get the 3D Commander Desert Fox, as well as you get the skin Snapshot. And with the Tiger Mouse, you get the skin as well once you finish stage 120. The season does arrive July 29th and last until October 6th, so 10 weeks. Usually it's 8 weeks, but for this one it is 10 weeks. But we do get a lot of other changes with the season as well, such as a new community map, Death Valley. If you play this game regularly, you must have tested this map in custom game, and it is finally coming. It is a big map, and I'm looking forward to this map, especially because it doesn't have a lot of visual noise. I like desert maps when it has day, because it's a lot clearer for me to see, and I enjoy those kind of maps with less tree, less clutter. So looking forward to this map, and we will have a tank guide out for this as well. It looks like very interesting and enjoyable, similar to Deathfall, because I do enjoy that map in Cold War. And they did say this map is a blend of Kasserine and Alalamine, as you can see different components from those, but we are getting a new map. Also note, based on player feedback, they are removing Ardines from the Cold War map rotation until further notice. Unfortunately, it still stays in World War II, but what can we do? They're also adding more maps to a lower tier rotation we will discuss shortly. As you already know, regiments were added to the game last season, and now we are getting the part 2 of regiments. We are getting the leaderboard as well as the more additional ranking. So if you're private, you can promote them accordingly, because you currently only have 3 ranks: private, recruitment, executive. Now they've added ranks in between. I don't know if they'll have more powers, but at least, it kind of feels special, especially your long-time players. They can progress through the ranks and get up top. And I think it'll also help with the player retention, especially those who are interested in those ranks. So with this update, we are getting the leaderboard, top 50 clans, as well as you'll see the 5 clans, I think, above and below your clan in the leaderboard as well. Then, of course, you'll get the rank. And currently, if you're not in a regiment, we do have a community regiment open, low-key hyperlink in description. And I say that you should join a regiment for any regiment, because there's a regiment store. You earn currency if you're in a regiment. You earn even more currency if you play in a platoon with a regiment member, and you can use those currency for camouflage emblem as well as a tank. We are getting a new tank. We just don't know what it is with this time. So as I said, if you're not in a regiment, must join a regiment. And if you don't know which one to join, check out our community regiment. Don't miss out on free stuff, which you'll get anyway just for playing. In addition to regiment's rank, we are getting some additional feature as well. World War II Tech Tree tanks are getting buffed. There are a lot of those, so I'm looking forward to them. They did give a sneak peek of some of the tanks, but we'll have a full list on Monday, and that's where we'll discuss how the buff looks once we have the complete information. So I'm definitely looking forward to the Tech Tree buffs to, spice up the current meta. Then we have enhanced matchmaker. Well, calm down, you don't have to worry too much, because there's been a confusion that is a skill-based matchmaker. First of all, it isn't. The current matchmaker stays. They're just adding additional criteria And when they take 2 players, we'll look at their the tank's win rate. Well, first they'll look at their overall win rate if you don't have enough battles in the tank, and once you have enough battles in the tank, they'll look at the tank win rate in addition to your win rate, and split it accordingly. And the reason why I say it's not a skill-based matchmaking, because in skill-based matchmaking, usually all the players are super good. All the average players play against average players, bad players play against bad players, and great players plays against great players. So the matches are always kind of sweaty. In this one, in one match, you'll still have good players, bad players, average players, every player. It's just evenly distributed, because a lot of the time we say, why do I get the bad players? Why do the red team get the better players? And this one is kind of an effort to even out the teams. The player selection that initially happens stays the same. And to be honest, if you're like a 55 plus win rate player, it won't even affect you. I'm only worried if it'll affect the queue time. If it doesn't, that's great. And then it'll probably help with steamrolls reduction a little bit. Steamroll will still happen, because no matter how much they try to balance, and the reason being is you have 15 players in a team, and not everyone's going to play it seriously. And if it's a weekend, you're just enjoying the game. And just even if you're a good player, you will have bad games. So yeah, it's a step in the right direction, I feel. I'm not too worried, but we'll have to see how it impacts the game. But you don't have to panic. It's not skill-based matchmaking. It's not going to ruin your experience. It will help slightly with the stream rolls, I think. And we have already discussed the new regiment ranks that we are getting. And that's not all. We're also getting 60 plus retired tier 1 to tier 4 back in the game. That means if you are one of those players that never had the opportunity to buy this tank, you will be able to buy these tanks now, especially if you have the tier 3 unlocked. These tanks will be unlocked for you. You'll just have to spend silver and get them. Tier 1s are free, and tier 2 and 3 they're not that expensive either. However, if there's any account that is created after this update, then they'll have to start their grind from tier 1. So I never played tier 1 in to that much, but I know there are players that are very committed or very passionate about those tiers, but never had the chance to get. So now they will be able to, and because the tiers are now unlocked, you'll see more real players. I never really understood why they retired the vehicles, because the people that own the vehicle, they still had those vehicles and can play them. But whenever they were launched, they'll just get bought games. So I never really understood that, but glad to see that they're back, because we had the resources, they were already in the game, so why restrict them? But that's not the case anymore, and you can get your hand on those 60 vehicles as well. And not to mention the tier 1 and 2, as mentioned earlier, they're getting additional maps to their map rotations. There we'll see Ghost Town, Ensk, and White Park as part of their map rotation. In addition, the old or the existing T22 Proto will be up tier to tier 6, and it will be a premium tank. That tank kind of always felt out of place. It felt too advanced for tier 1, at least to me. It looked like T22 to me, and I was like, why does this tank look so much better than the other tank that looks like tin cans? But that tank, if you already own it, is now moving to tier 6, so something to try. Looking forward to that tank. As well, as I said, I don't really play tier 1 2 that much, but I know a lot of people that are passionate about it, so happy for them, because now you finally have the chance, and it does make the most sense as well. And last but not the least, Metal Fest will be coming back as part of this season. As we know, we have few Metal Fest themed tank in the game, and in last couple of seasons or last few seasons, we had event as part of the season that runs towards the end of the season. This time it was Banners of Valor. The season before it was Valhalla. The one before we had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So maybe this Metal Fest this time, I know it's like a reintroduction. We had them already last year, but this time it might be an event similar to what we had in the previous season. So we might be able to earn some of those tanks, or maybe there will be a newer tank as well. Who knows? But I'm hopeful. Maybe we get a chance to earn one of maybe the Dragula, maybe Peace Shells, or some of the World War II tanks. But we'll see. We don't have any details. But one thing is confirmed, that Metal Fest will return this season. We just don't have the dates yet. But if you have to guess, probably last 3 to 4 weeks. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Do let me know in comments. What's the best part about the next season that you're looking forward to? Is it the new tanks? Is it the balance? Is it the regiment changes? Is it the tier 1, tier 2, the matchmaker, or you're not looking forward to anything at all and is disappointed? Do let me know in comments, because your feedback is important, because it feels like all the changes they're making these days, it is what players have asked, especially with the consumable and stuff. I do encourage you to specify what you like or don't like of the season, as they seem to be improving and even more quickly recently. And as I said, that's it for this video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Have a great rest of your day.